Good evening, everyone. So, today, this is an important update for all of you who have been following ForumIAS Academy and following me for quite some time. So, this is with respect to our results for FRC. So, this is a clickbait kind of thing, and I just want to share with you some good news. That is, we have had more than 150 selections from FRC in the prelims examination. And I would like to share this, not just this news, but whatever have been our key learnings with respect to the civil services preparation, with respect to coaching for civil services preparation, and also an important lesson for those of you who have not been able to clear. Plus, I would also like to debunk some of the myths with respect to this examination. First is that I would like to share what we had been doing. So this is all available on the public domain, and I would like to share the RankForge challenge is there. There is something known as the RankForge challenge, where we had published a list of our students for the sake of transparency ki kitne bacche hai na. So we were very clear with respect to coaching. What was happening is that increasingly since post-COVID era, we were seeing increasingly students who were coming to forum with a lack of deep trust. I mean, deep distrust was with respect to, the coaching, the mentors and the courses. And we were very stumbled. We were very, all the mentors at forum, मतलब जो भी आप लोग मेंटर से बात करते हैं, आसिफ सर, अमन सर, साक्षी मैम, so we all had one common observation, and that common observation is that post-COVID something had happened, that while there were two kinds of students, one who were working very hard, following all the mentor advice that was given to them, they were doing their courses properly, and if you take top 30, top 50 rank holders, even top 100 rank holders, out of which nearly 50 would have done a good number of courses from ForumIAS, what was happening was there was another crowd which was deeply distrustful. मतलब उनको लग रहा था कि कोचिंग से कुछ नहीं होता है. And as years passed by, we realized that everyone who was coming post-COVID world, they had done some 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 rupees courses online. And probably the same learning outcomes which they had wanted to achieve, they had not achieved. So the minute they got bored, they shut down their laptop and exited from the learning platform. We also realized that what had happened is that once those courses did not work out for them, the courses that were designed for this, for the mass consumption of 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people, they were not clearly demarcated for UPSC aspirants. Secondly, they were like general learning platforms, which means that it wasn't exactly a coaching where you would be trained to clear this examination. They were just focused on teaching the subjects instead of teaching you for the examination. And we faced this a lot. And among the several reasons why we started a residential coaching was because that we wanted to see for ourselves as a rigorous academy as to if we are able to deliver results by way where we are 24/7, we are having a student in some sort of supervision, in some sort of a place where we can, catch them when they're going wrong, and we can correct them when they're going wrong. I mean, I know you grown-up adults don't think that in a residential academy there is a Hitler sort of surveillance mechanism. That is not the case. The principle really is that if somebody is doing wrong, you can't stop them. If somebody is not stopping, you can't stop them. But the principle is that रोकना नहीं है लेकिन टोकना है, which means you can't stop them from doing anything stupid. You can't stop them from ruining their careers. You can't stop them from not studying. You can't stop them from loitering. But at least you can nudge them once. They can be unhappy about it. But what happens is a large number of times it helps in behavior correction. That happens nearly 7-8 times. The 2 other times, well, they go on social media and write some stuff. But anyway, today is about the results that we've had in SFP, and we had implemented everything that we are doing at ForumIAS Academy in a residential setup just to see if our programs are effective. Another reason why this was happening was that after 22-23, we increasingly saw that students who had studied very hard at Forum, after the results, we were seeing them at different academies where we knew that they hadn't studied. And sometimes when we had this discussion as to why they were on those platforms, it wasn't really a topper bribery, but most of the edtech players, because they had a lot of money or they had investors behind them, so they were offering some sort of gifts, and the students went there just for the gifts, but were not really beneficiaries. Also, the forum programs were rigorous enough with the participation so high that we know that they did not have the time between prelims and mains to do those courses elsewhere. We did not leave them enough time. That was the whole objective. But anyway, the point was that with respect to even today, we cannot stop anyone who's selected from any of the places, who's whether in our physical campus, we cannot stop them from promoting any other coaching, even if they have not taken the courses from it. And that's because the Consumer Commission guidelines are there that toppers are free to recommend any coaching once they are selected. So the guidelines, the law currently says that toppers are not bound to, coaching institutes where they have students have studied. Toppers are free to endorse any coaching after their selection and are not bound to disclose what courses they have taken from whichever academy. But that's not the point. The point here is we had a very rigorous program that we have here in Delhi and in our online mode, and we were able to replicate it in a residential setup. There were several reasons why we decided to have a residential setup. One was that when we saw that people were a lot distracted, and as ORN became a little, what we would say is diluted, teachers also started feeling that earlier, while in ORN, out of, in every library, when we had the mains examination, you would have nearly half the library or even 60-70% of the library with mains appearing students. Now that number was even less than 10%. In a whole library, you hardly have 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 people, not exceeding ever 15% of the people writing the mains. So as an academy also, what happened is that the dilution that happened in Rajendra Nagar or Karol Bagh, we were starting to feel the heat. I mean, we were not able to figure out the reason. And also teachers lost motivation because a good and challenging crowd challenges the teacher to prepare better, challenge the teacher to do better. It also challenges the academy to perform better. Coming to the point, this is our result. It is an open challenge. We had published this result on this challenge on 1st May, and we had published the list of students as on 3rd April, whatever was the list, we froze and we said that these are our top students and we expect them to perform. This challenge was put on 1st of May. So this is, and we have edited it today as we have the results. So you can see from the top, as we can see, in the top 10, the students. And please remember that all these people, 95%, or rather I would say 95% of these people had never cleared the prelims examination, and it was the very first time that they cleared the prelims and will be writing their mains. The remaining 5%, most of them are students who came to forum after multiple attempts, cleared the prelims with SFG or whatever, or were part of FRC program maybe last year. They cleared their first prelims and then they have written. So there can be that number. For example, this candidate had cleared the examination last year with FRC and the very first time cleared the. So you can see this is the students who have been selected. In top 10, we have been able to get 9 people making it to through the prelims examination. You can see the list of students. This is a public list. Now this is for all those of you. What has happened in the past few months is that we are increasingly seeing a lot of non-genuine and sometimes to the point of blatant falsehoods that have been spread using social media platforms that are completely designed to misguide students. I'm very happy to share that at FRC, this we have declared here, that out of top 100 students that we had, out of, if you see the top 100, 69, more than 2/3 have been able to clear the prelims examination. And out of top 200, more than 100 plus, that is nearly half, every second person has cleared the prelims examination. And as of now, out of the 400 plus students that we had preparing for the prelims, and these people were called to prepare for the prelims because they had failed to clear the prelims 2, 3, 4, 5 times. There are people who have cleared the prelims here in their 5th attempt and 6th attempt. There are a large number of such people. In fact, one of the criteria that we have is that you must have at least 2 attempts left. And most people who are in this list are the ones who are in their higher attempts but came to FRC for a dedicated preparation of prelims examination. And this is the number. So out of 400 plus or 450 students, we have more than 160 plus is the count. This is 157 students yahan par hai. That number will be 160. In fact, we believe that up to 200 students, nearly half the people will have cleared the prelims. And this number, I'm sure, is going to be closer to 200 than it is going to be at 150. So this is with respect to those of you who are thinking of, taking up a rigorous coaching or thinking of taking professional help with respect to preparation. This is also particularly, I decided to make this video because today morning I had a certain doctor candidate, 4 attempts, cleared MBBS from Andhra Pradesh, cleared MBBS in the very first attempt, gets government medical college, but has been in Rajinder Nagar for 2 years and at home for 2 years. 4 attempts have passed. These are the kind of students who have been bright with a 90% plus marks in school. They've studied all their life, and for some reason, watching the YouTube, watching the internet, they have given 5 years. They have not even cleared the prelims once. And when I met her today, it's about the time when I'm recording this video is, as you can see, it is 10:41 p.m. It's about 11 o'clock. And this interaction happened at 7, and at which point I thought that there's a need to dispel some rumors. There's a need to enlighten at least people who have been bright and people who have the potential. At least they should be prevented from ruining their careers. At least they should be able to take some bold steps. The reason why I'm saying is people with some bright college, bright schooling or bright college is because you do not have an excuse as to why you are not able to perform to your top. Somebody who has not had the benefit of good schooling, does not have the benefit of a good peer group, does not have the benefit of a good college, he has an excuse as to why he's not performing because he doesn't know any better. But if you had had a good schooling, if you had had the benefit of a good college, you have a good peer group. There are days when you have studied 8, 10, 12 hours. It isn't like that you were part of a peer group where there was nobody studying, so you don't even know how it feels to study like 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 hours. That excuse can be given by somebody who has not had the opportunity or the benefits of good schooling, good college, good peer group. But if you're from any of the top institutions in the country and if you're wasting, then it's completely your fault. And somebody has to say it. Though I know that on the internet you want me to say that ho jayega. I don't say it, and I'll share the reason why I don't say sometimes next time ho jayega is because long back a young lady once messaged me and said, "Sir, I was doing quite well. And I'm devastated, I'm crying, my eyes are swollen, I cannot look at my laptop screen because my name is not there. And I don't want to tell me कि अगली बार हो जाएगा because this is the time इस बार हो जाना चाहिए था." And ever since that, I have never said to anyone कि अगली बार हो जाएगा because I know that होना तो इसी बार था. So for those of you who have had strong academic skills, you have no excuse to underperform or you have no excuse to not deliver to a potential, especially when you are in your 20s. अगर आप उतनी मेहनत नहीं कर रहे हैं किसी रीजन के कारण, तो इसको फिक्स करने की जरूरत है because by the end of a few years you will realize that your career is nowhere. Secondly, the world will tell you if you prepare for civil services and you don't get through, then you are a beggar, you are on the street, you will be single, broke, poor, unmarried and alone for the rest of your life. Nothing like that is going to happen. I have never seen somebody prepare well for the civil service examination. It won't happen that he won't clear the prelims. It won't happen that he won't clear the mains. You could argue that he may not make it to the service of his choice. You could argue that he may not make it to the final list. But it doesn't happen that they don't reach the interview. It doesn't happen that, they don't go through the 3 stages. So, and while it is a lot of final selection and getting the prestigious Indian Administrative Service, which sits at the apex of all services, while there is a lot of element of luck, you will need very strong luck on that front. It is also true that not getting through the other stages isn't luck. And if somebody is telling you that to make you feel good, you can feel good. But the truth has to be told and you have to accept it. And my dear friends, I'm saying this because I know that once you accept the truth, it will set you free. I have often seen that once, even at FRC, I've seen that a student has been complaining about the rigorous schedule and tight studying and the amount of hours that everyone is studying. But once he accepts the truth ki itna padna padega and there are other people who are studying as much, it becomes a lot easier for them once the person has established that this is the amount of effort that I need to do. All right. So this is the list of students which you can check. And it's an open list. I would also beg on you to check. So the result with the names has come. So there is no faking it. You will see one more observation that I would like you to make. In civil services, there are no guarantees. We wanted to prove with respect to our teaching methodology, our testing methodology and our mentorship. We wanted to prove for ourselves. Internally, it was very important for ForumIAS Academy as an organization that our team believes that whatever we are doing, we are in the right direction and we are able to deliver stellar results without creating a halla bulla about it. I can tell you with ForumIAS that the number of students who study at Forum, I'm talking about students not just in prelims test series, I'm talking about primarily the mains program and other programs. We roughly have anywhere between, depending on we have 2,000 to 4,000 students. But then every year we'll have anywhere between 300 to 600 students in the final list. I'm talking about students who have paid more than 20,000-30,000 in fees. I'm not talking about 590 interview courses or something like that. And as a community, of course, that number will be more, such as, people participating in free mock and stuff like that. Free mock test and stuff like that. You would have more, but this is the number that we are able to get, and we are pretty satisfied. We are not looking for sending every single candidate, all the 900 odd students who are selected. We are not looking for having all of them. We are happy with a 300 to 600 figure, anywhere in between. We will not let it fall below 300, and we would not want to have more than 600 in the final list. It is anywhere between 1/3 to 2/3. But largely, we would be happy if we have 40 to 50% of the students from our academy, and rest can be from any other place and can be from self-study as well. One key observation, if you see here, is that while in top 10, the chances of the candidate getting selected becomes very high. As we proceed to the bottom, the chances start reducing. As we proceed to the lower list, now if you see outside of 50, the number reduces. If you see outside of 100, the number reduces. So I've already shared the data with you. My point of this is a RankForge challenge, and this challenge was put to everyone. It was in public domain with respect to the results. And coming back to a few things that we want to share that we have had our learning. First thing is the truth about UPSC, truth about UPSC coaching and everything. So the first thing is that selection, apart from studying, all of us once, I'm not going to say that for prelims everyone has studied, because if I have 100 students studying for prelims, I can tell you that maybe 40 or 50 of them will be studying, not more than that. Even at FRC, I cannot assure that more than 50% of the crowd will be studying. But then 50% who's studying is a good number for us, because the remaining 50%, they realize what they do. And I can tell you as a thumb rule that if I have to select 100 students, I can tell you what is going to happen is that 1/3 of them will clear that year. 2/3 will not clear that year. The next 1/3 will see the first 1/3 clear and realize that they weren't exceptional, they were just like them, and then they will clear it the next year. The last 1/3 will never keep clear. I can tell you that even if I get all the 900 students selected in the final civil services list, if I were to take them in and there was to be an exam to be rewritten, even then I could say that out of the 900 people, roughly 200 to 300 would not make it. That has to do with several factors which are beyond our control, including exam day factors, the motivation, depreciating motivation levels of the students, and whatnot. But with respect to selection, we are very clear with one thing, and I want to share it with the world. Your selection is a lot about the exposure that you have. I'm saying this because when I started ForumIAS, my father had snidely commented. He says, "Dekho, it's an academy, padhne likhne ka mahol hona chahiye." That thing stuck with me. I lost my father in 2022 in COVID. After that, that thing stuck with me. So one of the things that I want to tell all of you, whoever is preparing, that you are no more than the average of the 5 people you hang out with. It isn't possible that you will outsmart hugely the other people you hang out with, unless you have some genetic advantage, or you have won the genetic lottery, which makes you exceptionally sharp. But otherwise, we'll all be the average of 5 people you interact with. I strongly want to suggest to all of you that please, this question, should I come to Delhi? I'm not asking you to come to Delhi, but I strongly recommend that please either have a strong peer group, have a bunch of friends, and they shouldn't be friends for life. They should be a bunch of friends who are preparing together. You're going to learn a thing or two from them. And once you've learned a thing, you'll probably need other people who are preparing. I'm in this examination, the prelims, mains, and the interview. I'll tell you what's going to happen. A bunch of friends preparing for prelims. Few of them will clear the prelims. They'll be appearing for the mains. And then at this point, if the people appearing for the mains don't form a single cohort, then it will be difficult for them to make progress. Similarly, when we enter the interview stage, we have to be part of a cohort where everyone is appearing for the interview. And it isn't about friendship. It's simply about separating your personal relations from your responsibilities or mission that you have committed yourself to. If you've decided to have a 6-pack abs, you cannot hang out with people who have junk food all day. Those are basics, and you have to know that. But I would strongly recommend that wherever you are, please go to the places where people are studying and try to find good peer group. Where I think Delhi is one of the places. I would not recommend Delhi per se, but any other place where you know that there is a good bunch of people, there's a good library, there's a good coaching. Do not be a fool who's continuously for 4 years binge watching YouTube, because everyone on YouTube, in the comments, people are writing, "I cleared this exam, I cleared that exam." A lot of views, often what we realize is paid views, or a lot of these comments and likes. I'm saying this because we are a leading mains player. We get good number of mains appeared students. We get good number of rank improvement students. And when we watch our YouTube videos, we don't see much of comments. And we are a major player. And we don't have like 10,000 to 20,000 students. We don't even have 5,000 students. We are making do with somewhere between 2,000 to 4,000, anywhere between these numbers. So what the selection is, a lot of it is to do with exposure. When I mean by exposure, one of the things that we got at FRC was, which I wanted to personally do was, when I tell you here, when you're sitting in Delhi and I tell you that you need to study more, you think that master sahab hai, inko lagta hai ki hum kar lenge. But itna thodi koi karta hai. So now the amount of hard work that people do completely depends on what they've seen. Now I often see that those who are children of government servants, bureaucrats, they see their parents working very hard. They have the right environment at home. They can't, some people, the parents have cleared the examination or any government service and they have studied very hard. They work very hard. Now in those households, if you just study 4-5 hours a day, you're probably going to get scolded ki beta padhai kar lo. Now on the other hand, if you do not have any such role models in the family and you study for 4 hours, your family starts celebrating, giving you a Nobel Peace Prize for studying. Ki mera beta bahut padhta hai. Now these are the kind of things that are not going to help your cause. I often see people who have not studied, who have who are in a profession where education is not the primary driver of their growth. And when their kids, they study for a few hours, the parents come and they say कि सर मेरा बच्चा बहुत पढ़ता है और मैंने पूछा क्या पढ़ा है, कॉपी देखकर समझ में आ जाता है इन्होंने पढ़ाई नहीं की है, ना स्कूल में पढ़ाई की है, ना कॉलेज में की है, ना UPSC में कर रहे हैं. तो पहले तो raise your bars, hang out with people who study, hang out even if it means having separate friends for time pass and having professional colleagues for studying. And you don't have to like your professional colleagues for studying. You only have to be there so that there's a competitive environment. You are able to raise your bar. The second is, what is your baseline? See, we all have to clear this examination. It's an all India competition. We have to clear this examination. But then we all have different starting points. Today, a young lady came, a doctor with MBBS and 4 attempts and nothing to show with respect to civil services. I was appalled, and that is the kind of thing that forced me to suddenly, shoot this video at 11 p.m. midnight, which wasn't the best idea. The whole point is that we already will have our admissions full with respect to FRC, and we wouldn't want anyone to watch videos and come to us because we think that if you haven't spoken to a human person personally, and if you're not coming by a reference of a student or former student, then probably you won't find this things working for you. Probably you will find कि बहुत पढ़ाई करनी पड़ती है, बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ती है, और you may not find value in it. So when it comes to our baseline, we could be anyone. There are people in this examination who have cleared, they have cleared NEET, they have cleared AIMS, they are toppers of AIMS and they're coming for this exam. And at the same time, there are people who have never gotten more than 60% in 10th or 12th, and they have done it from open university and community colleges, and they are appearing for this exam. There are different kinds and there are different levels. The only advantage of people who have professionally studied is that they know that the better your education has been, whether it is school, whether it is college, you know that itna padhna normal hai. Your normal is very different. Whereas if you have not been to the best education institutions, then your normal is very different. But even if 4, 5, 6 hours of working, you may feel like you're the king of the world and there is nobody in the world working more hard than you. And this is why, you can pick up examples of hard work from anywhere. If you feel, go to 5 a.m. at Sadar Bazaar in Delhi. It is called the 5 a.m. economy. It's going to be crowded. Go to 5 a.m. at Sadar Bazaar in Delhi or in your city. It's going to be crowded. If you go by 7 a.m., 7 baje jaoge, by that time the markets will be off. The 5 a.m. economy. You'll find there's crowd on the streets, whereas you may have never seen the rising sun in the past 2-3 years. So this baseline of where you're coming from, that does not matter in this examination. What matters is what is the final position. But the baseline definitely defines what is your normal. The baseline, and that baseline has to be raised. It has to be raised to a level such that you are able to reach the same finishing point which other people are. The students have been asking me, should I come to Delhi? I would definitely say that here at ForumIAS, we are guided by what is called the sibling test of a good advice. What would I advise to you? Now, most of the times I see people giving that advice which the other person will probably agree to, or which the other person will become happy. But when it comes to their own family member, to their own relative, to their own brothers and sisters, to their own nephews, the advice is very genuine. So for a student, I may say, aane ki zarurat nahi hai, online kar lo. Why? Because I know ki aane se kya hoga, maybe cost of conducting the program will increase because fees for online, offline is the same. But if it's your own sibling, you'll always want them in the eye. कि बेटा अगले दिन आ जाओ, offline रहो, classes करो. Now, I'm not saying that there is no way apart from offline. or there is no way apart from coming to Delhi. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is you need to have the maturity to know yourself. Because if you see rank holders, nearly all of them will be online students. But that doesn't mean that you need to be online. The point is that he has studied his basics. He has everything in place. He has gone through the grind. He's gone through the grind of sitting for 3 hours. He has written lectures and whatnot. He has attended and whatnot. He has internalized everything. And once you internalize everything, what happens is that you don't probably need those basics. And now you can do things online. But if you haven't done, your basics are not in place. Another question that has been asked is, we are having SFG residential. Does SFG work? So I get this, I'm always afraid of, the quality of SFG being diluted, not per se by the academy, but sometimes by the students' expectation that they are joining. SFG has been a well-guarded secret for many years. I can tell you that you go to any district right now, you will have, because we train for All India services where students join the IAS, the IPS and the Indian Forest Service. I can tell you that at this point in every district of the country, I can tell you that either the district collector, the superintendent of police or the divisional forest officer, the DFO will have done SFG once. I can tell you that with confidence. If not in 100% of the districts in a state, then I can tell you about 50 to 60% of the districts in the state, at least one person will have done it. My point is that whenever you ask such questions, that how many questions came from there, it means that you are not getting the purpose. The purpose is not to replicate the question, because the UPSC question paper is such that even if I taught you that concept, if you don't understand it, you can't simply mug it up and go there. It has to be understood. And then it is in the end a test of decision making. It is in the end a test of problem solving. It isn't a regular banking exam where you mug up things and the exact thing comes, or the state PCS exams where the facts are being asked. It's not just like that. The outside world, the universe may think so, but you who are writing the paper, you have to know that. The paper requires deeper understanding of concepts, a lot of analytical skills. And the purpose of SFG is not question matching. You will never see that there will be a thing that these are the questions that came. You will see toppers, students say that a lot of questions came, but that is never our intention. I will tell you that I will be even satisfied if no questions come from there, because the whole purpose is the skill development. Because if I give you a fish, you have fish for one day. I give you questions and those questions come in the examination, you do fine. But what if the next year the questions do not come? But on the other hand, I make sure that you know the skills, how to solve questions. You know the problem solving skills. You have the the decision making skills that you have developed over the training programs at ForumIAS. We know that you will do well. Then I'd also like to talk about the role of mentorship. What is currently happening is two aspects of mentorship. The first aspect is that, does mentorship work? It works for those who need it. Then does everyone need mentorship? To some extent. But what I'm continuously seeing is that these days, a lot of students say, I don't want classes, I want to do only mentorship. It's not going to work for you. A mentor cannot dictate you notes. See, I'll tell you what I see mentor's role as: holding your hand whenever you fall, catching hold of you when you are making mistakes, and also telling you how to improve. These are the few things. Whether you are able to implement it or not is not within the bandwidth of the mentor. I often see some students expect that the mentor will, beat them with a stick and get work done out of them. But, one man can take the horse to water, but 10 men cannot make it drink. And the second aspect is that a lot of students these days say that I want a mentorship program and I know it all. Trust me, whenever I hear a student say that they know it all, as a teacher I can show that I do not know it all. So leave those of you who are struggling with multiple failures, realize that there is something that you do not know. And knowledge gaining will start with some sort of humility, some sort of acceptance कि मुझे नहीं आता था. This year, when the paper happened, it took us 1 week to gather. And as an academy, we were expected to take a position. We took the position which I take with the sibling, and I said that if you're getting less than 65 marks, you have a right to be angry, you have a right to protest. But all I'm saying is, no matter how the paper was, 60-65 marks से अगर आपके कम है, इतने नंबर भी अगर नहीं है, then no matter how the paper was, you were not in the game. It doesn't happen, and you have to be brutally truthful with yourself. You can be mad about it, you can be angry about it, but don't have that sense of entitlement, and that's for your own good. And this is what I'll tell to my sibling if he's appearing for this examination. I also want to talk about is that sometimes I often feel is that coaching is expensive, and therefore a lot of people not taking up coaching. We have shown you the result. That has been the result of a good coaching effort. I'm not going to say that we did the best. We tried our best. There are things that we wanted to do, we could not do. We took corrective measures whenever we felt that the students are going wrong. And there are too many things which we could do. For example, if you say that, sir, the results in top 100 is approximately 70%. 69-70%, but in 200 it is 50%. It further increases, then it will goes downhill. Can you have 100% results? By way of manipulation, it can be done. One way how we can do it is, that I choose only those students who are missing the cutoff by a margin. But that has not been the criteria for FRC selections. The single criteria for FRC selections is that we see that the person should have ability to write correctly. One page, he should be able to express himself. He should have studied at least once in life, whether in school or in college, or sometimes with us. If he's done 1 or 2 levels of SFG, we know that he's ready for a residential coaching and he will deliver results. I'd also like to tell you a little secret. So a lot of people say, including within the organization, that sir, can't we have more results? It's easy for me to have that more results, but I also would not want a tyranny of meritocracy. I strongly understand that while we need some good students, at the same time, the selection process also ensures that there is not just a flood of meritocracy, which will lead to a lot what is called, because competition is inherently toxic. I'm sure we are all a part of competition and we see how toxic it gets. But we would also at some point, we'd like to draw a line where we would not want beyond the top 100, we would not want the best students. We would not want the most toxic environment that is born out of competition. That's a personal philosophy, and that's maybe not good for business, not good for organization, but this is what we feel are convinced. If we have a change in view, we will change our views. But as of now, we are optimizing to ensure that we are not choosing somebody who was just near the cutoff and then we are taking them and saying that in these student groups, there are people who got in 20 marks in prelims, they have cleared it, they are 30 marks in prelims. And this is a public apology to Harpreet today, who has cleared the prelims. So I wanted to say it long back. So Harpreet, when I met him, he was not selected for FRC because the writing skills were not in place. And when he called me, he said that, sir, I will give the results. But I always find him a little happy. मुझे लगता था बहुत मस्ती वाला बच्चा है. When the reshuffle happened, he ended up getting first rank in FRC. And so much so that I asked the team that was there cheating, and I checked on cameras. This is no, sir, there was no cheating. But I was so convinced that unfair means may have been used, because I felt that how could he was able to get a top rank. So like a bad teacher, bad principal that you see in movies, we revised the criteria for the rank list, putting 50% of weightage to the test and 50% to an all-round improvement. And still, this young chap, whom I have not thought that he will be able to make the improvement that is needed, or who will be able to put the hard work that is needed to clear this examination, and still he was able to get a good position. When I went to the campus and I spoke to the mentors, the teachers, even the hostel, they said, sir, wo bahut padhai kar raha hai. But I refused to believe. And then in simulators, I started seeing this young man getting very good score. And today, and just yesterday, I got a call, ki sir, ho gaya mera bhi prelims. And I'm saying this because I have so many selected students who are in the IPS, who are in revenue services and railway services and allied services. They have not cleared the prelims. And he has. So, ek cheez to main, this is an apology to Harpreet. So, forgive me for all the things that I did not believe in you at that time ki tum kar paoge. But it was a massive learning lesson for me. And this is a public apology. And the second thing that I want to tell you is that, देखो बच्चों, आप लोग जो स्ट्रगल कर रहे हो, रियलाइज करो, फाइंड आउट व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम. 2-3 प्रॉब्लम्स होती है. पहली प्रॉब्लम ये होती है ना कि यू हैव टू गेट बेटर एट व्हाट यू आर डूइंग. अब नाउ अ स्टूडेंट कम्स एंड ही सेज कि सर मैं एसएफजी किया फिर भी मेरा नहीं हुआ. एसएफजी करने का रैंक आ रही है 1200, रैंक आ रही है 900. क्यों होगा? जनरल कैटेगरी में 74 रैंक और 75 रैंक आएगी, देन यू विल बी नॉट गेटिंग आईएएस डिपेंडिंग ऑन द ईयर. 79 रैंक you will not be getting the IAS. You will come back and prepare with ForumIAS for the next attempt to improve your rank. And in coaching, you're getting 1200 and you're happy with it. Why should you be happy? I'm assuming that when you're writing the civil service examination, you're looking for a top rank. 1200 rank, seat is less than 1000. If this was an actual UPSC exam and you are getting outside of 1000 rank, there is no way you're going to make it. Unless you play your game and find out. Sometimes what I find is people are looking for new ways and new means to clear this examination. They don't know what to do. The whole point is you need one more round of revision. You need one more round of revising your tests. You need one more round of reading the textbook again. All I'm saying is कुछ नया नहीं करना है. हो सकता है जो कर रहे हो उसमें बेहतर करना है. If there's a 100-meter race and I'm not running quite fast, I don't need to do too many things. I probably, to win that race, I have to just run faster. And running faster may take other things. But you have to get better at what you're doing. You cannot be getting like 2000 ranks, say that I've done both the levels. Now, one of the things you may say is, sir, but what if I always do not perform? I get outside of 1000 ranks. Bacha, if you're getting 1000 rank and let's say I'm getting 100 rank, I will always beat you, except there's one condition. That is after the you get this is me, I get 100 rank and you're getting 1000 rank. The only way you can beat me is, so let's say we are playing a chess match, you beat me. Now, the only way I can beat you is that after the chess match, I see the movements, I see the game, and I learn all the moves, and I make sure that if the same chess game was played again, and if you made the same moves, I'm prepared enough to beat you, then I've won it. So let's say I'm getting 100 rank, you getting 1000 rank. You have to promise that, okay, in this test where I did not know the questions, I got 1000 rank and he got 100 ranks. But if the same paper was to happen 3 months down the line, I will be getting more than him or at least equal than him. Which means that when you're writing your test, it is not just an assessment thing. It is also a learning process. And please use tests as your learning process. The next is, we are not looking to with respect to coaching is expensive. Currently, I can tell you about Forum. Generally, the cost of the academy, mains program takes a lot of cost, but the fees is around 3,000 to 5,000 per month. And I can tell you, barring the mains program in FRC, but otherwise, this is the generally averagely the cost of programs that we broadly have averagely. There can be some programs which may be 7,000 or 8,000 per month. But I also want to tell you that you are competing at a national level. If you come and tell me, as a mentor, I'm telling you, you come and tell me that, sir, I have done it from XYZ website, I've done my preparation. And depending on which place you have done your preparation, I am going to rank you, whether you are going to clear the exam or not, even before you've written a sentence. There's several reasons. One is that I know that you have done it from a lightweight place, so your tayari is lightweight. Halke halke mein tayari ki hai. You are good enough to write 10th board and maybe get an 80%, but if you're looking for that 99% or 100% or a 10 CGPA, you're not going to get it with that kind of study. I'm going to judge you. I'm going to put you on a lower ranking than somebody who has done it from a better place. And if you're doing it from any of the top 2-3 places, you are better placed just because you've done it at the top 2 or 3 places. The second aspect with respect to coaching is that when there is an all India competition, you're looking for the best, you're looking for being top in India, then it is going to be expensive. I mean, education or competitive examinations coaching is still a little more still affordable, and it is the cost has gone down in the past years. But you take sports coaching, it's going to be exorbitant. But if you decide to be a national level player and you, God forbid, you want to be a sports person and you want to take coaching for it, and you have to be, I mean, when I'm talking about a national level competition, I'm not talking about mahalle mein competition, but you're looking for being India's best, then it is going to be expensive. Now you may say, sir, what if I'm not afford to it? You find out whether you can really not afford it, or you're having the perception of helping your family. If you're really not able to afford it, use unfair means. Whatever means you want, you use it, whether you are using Telegram, whatever you do it, but study from proper places. And if you do not have affordability issues, then please do it in a genuine manner. You will do excellent results. You will do outstandingly well. There are several people with single digit ranks who had financial constraints, and they've shared with us that, sir, I took a pirated version of the course. But if you can afford it, please do it as properly as possible. And lastly, don't be the kid who's, who does not have a financial crisis, but does not want to, be a burden on their parents, and now they've reached their 6th attempt and now they are an actual burden on the parent. Because year by year, when we are spending in the exam, either we should reach our destination. Let's say we have to go from A to B. We have spent some years. Now, the problem is why you will get trapped in the civil service exam is you have given it 2, 3, 4 years, but you are only at A, then there's a problem. If you're anywhere where you're close, your knowledge level has to be somewhere in between. Even if it is not at B, it has to be somewhere in between. You have grown. But if that doesn't happen, then that's the problem. If you're staying at the same place, I meet you today, you say, sir, I didn't clear the prelims. There's nothing wrong with it. Nearly everyone on the list has not cleared the prelims before. Nearly everyone. In top 100, maybe you may have maybe 2 or 3 or 4, 5, not more than 5 people who have cleared this examination in one go. That's not simply the case. You have less than 5 to 10% people. So everyone who's there has not cleared the prelims before. Nearly everyone who's in the final list. That's not the point. The point is that from now till December, what are you doing? So in December, I ask you, what have you been doing? And you say, sir, or where are you? And you say, sir, exactly where we met the last time. It means we have a wasted year and we have wasted youth. So if you're thinking your youth is being wasted because of the exam, the youth is being wasted because they're not putting that effort in that time. I have never seen somebody who has studied hard and not succeeded and not do well in life across all fields. And next is, please don't hit this approach when you're preparing for competitive exam, ki mera chal raha hai. Let's say you have to top. You do not have to pass. Some people say, sir, I'm doing it. I'm not saying, are you doing it? Are you topping it? If you're not topping it, then please increase the efforts and also be patient with yourself. What may happen, which generally happens in the context of civil service examination, is that sometimes our learning pace is lesser than others. And this has nothing to do with your educational background. I had a young student. He had studied from IGNOU, and Open University, did not go to a proper college for financial reasons. And he has appeared for the interview in his very first attempt. A very bright kid. You tell him something, he picks up this fast. And there's another student who may take things take time to pick up. If you tell them something, they quickly note it down. They're diligent. They're not sharp, but they're diligent. The only difference is this person picks up fast, he may take lesser time. If you pick up slow, you may take more time, but that's it. The disabilities that accrue to you because maybe you're not the sharpest or the finest can often and always be overcome by hard work. All right, so the next time you're doing any course at Forum or elsewhere, you don't have to pass it, you have to top it. And remember, there are no rules in life, only best practices. You will say, always students ask this question, sir, मैं ये कर लूंगा तो गारंटी हो जाएगा? नहीं गारंटी हो जाएगा. मैं इस सड़क के किनारे हूँ और उस सड़क मुझे जाना है, गारंटी है क्रॉस कर लूंगा? नहीं गारंटी क्रॉस कर लूंगा. Don't expect that with life. Life is very organic. The variables keep changing every second, every day, every hour. You know, when students start, what happens is the brightest of this year itself, the brightest student from my FRC, I was expecting the candidate him to do quite well, give us a rank. We were expecting a top 10 rank, 20 rank. But somewhere in the midway, we felt that he, instead of focusing on the exam in the process, he was more likely influenced by, extraneous factors, very much influenced and disturbed by it. So inability to focus on things that matter wasn't there. And internally, when we sat with the mentors, he says the numbers look all fine, but do you think this person will make it? And the mentors had unanimity, sir, nahi ho paega. Why? Because the person is unable to focus on things that matter and is concerned about nearly everything. And the exam process is such that it tests how you are able to maintain your nerves on the day of the exam. The paper will be such that it will break everything that you know and bring out your true personality when you are fearful, when you are afraid, when you are in full panic, and then how you perform. Exactly the kind of position that you may be as an administrator when you have your inherently chaotic administrative setup will be there and you have to take decisions. So you samjho ki the best of the students, there are no guarantees, but yes, they are best practices. If we follow them, we'll reach somewhere. How can we maximize chances and not topper's paid? I thought, but I will not be taking it today. Now, one more thing. Today in the morning, somebody said that after how many students you have got selections. So here I want to tell all of you how to decide, how to calculate the selection rate of institute. Or, some people will immediately say that there are 10,000. No, we are not EdTech. We don't have 10,000, 20,000 students. We will never have them. We'll remain poor. We will remain small, but we don't aim to have 10,000, 20,000 students. We don't have those scaling ambitions because we know that we'll be bogged down by a large number of people whom we know beforehand that their preparation for civil service is not their first priority. Point is that when somebody asked this on Twitter today, subah pucha, so enrolled students, so what happens is, let us say we have 100 enrolled students, out of which let's say 20 make it. And the number of seats, this is enrolled students, this is the selected students from us, and this is the seats. So there are 100 enrolled students and 20 students make it, and seats are, let us say, 1,000. In this case, you can ask how many people were selected. So I say 20 out of 100 enrollments, 20 were there, 20 people have gotten selection. That means a 20% selection ratio. But this number, if it increases to 1,000, this number is still determined by on 300 students get selected, you can say 30% is the selection ratio. But when this number exceeds, let's say now I have 2,000 students, and then the number of seats is 1,000, which means that even if I have a 100% selection ratio, even if I had a 100% selection ratio, 2,000 people will not make it because the number of seats is 1,000. So in this case, what happens? In this case, this happens. How we see our selection ratio, you must have seen the advertisement of ForumIAS where we have said that 65% of rankers in top 10 and top 20 have been students of ForumIAS Academy. This advertisement has gone. Why we are saying this? Why we are not saying what percentage of students have been selected? So those of you who are saying that, sir, what percentage of students get selected? Either you don't know mathematics or you need to take some CSAT classes. Whether you're writing the exam or you're not. This number does not make sense because if I have 2,000 students and number of seats is this, then even if 100% selection is there, 100%, even if I have, everyone is good enough, the number of the limiting is 1,000. So in this case, the calculation simply happens is that out of the 1,000 students, how many are my students? So for example, we try to have this number between 300 to 600, not more than this. This is the number we are aiming, and we will probably maintain this ratio. That out of every third to every 2/3 student will be ours, and we'll also try to focus on the top ranks. Top rank का focus हमारा रहेगा because we want to, as an academy, we want to feel successful. That is important for our academic rigor. That is important for us to feel that we are having a meaningful job. Anyone, those who are concerned about FRC results, tell you that overall 400 to 450 plus के बच्चे थे जिसमें this number will be anywhere between 150 to 200. अभी टीम को बोला था तो 170 तक people have said, which means nearly You could do the math, isn't it? So this percentage of students are there. But at the same time, I also want to tell you something, and that is statistics don't make a difference to individuals. Statistics don't make a difference to individuals. Why? We could say that 1 in a million people die of smoking. And if you are the one, then for you 100% strike rate is there. All right. So similarly, for example, I say that I have 65% of the people in top 100, top 10 and top 20 are from ForumIAS Academy, and you are not one of them. So this number doesn't make a difference to you. So which is also the reason why do not be a what is called a simpleton, a simp, who is bogged down by such agenda or such discussions कि कितने percentage में selection हुआ. Even if you have parents who are asking this question, ये बताइए कि top 100, top 200, top 300 में क्या है. And second is what we as an academy focus on. What is our percentage role in the selection? What is the percentage role in selection? One of the ways to find out what is your percentage role in selection is whether you are having the student come back to you for repeat or not for his improvement, performance improvement. Now you may say, sir, why you are talking about performance improvement? Why would a student come back? It means that the coaching is not right. Here I want to make a difference. I want to teach you and educate you about something. The educate you about something is, in our country, there is a poor understanding of science, maths versus humanities. Science, math, engineering, STEM fields versus humanities. So in our country, conventionally it is felt that if you're bright, then you go to science, and if you're not bright, then you take up humanities. This is the not bright people. This is the biggest, and this science and math is for bright people, or engineering is for bright people. तेज है तो engineering करेगा, कम तेज है तो humanities करेगा. ये करेगा BTech, and if he is not good, then he'll do BA. Now I'll tell you, if you look back, a lot of you must have passed your engineering, you must have passed your BA. If you look back, you will suddenly realize that the guy who has done BTech, he wasn't exactly bright. He was probably the worst. He was not even sharp. And he did a BTech, and he at least has a job of 25,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, depending on what he picked up, what is the skill set that he picked up. But to get that kind of a 6 LPA or a 7 LPA or 8 LPA job, you go to Bangalore. People with a BTech degree, they are easily getting 4, 5, 6 to 10 LPA. In ForumIAS, I can tell you that you will meet a student who is बहुत परेशान. पूछोगे तो सर 18 LPA का पैकेज छोड़ कर आए हैं. पूछोगे बहुत ब्राइट है तो नहीं सर, स्कूल में I got a 7.8 CGPA. But they done a technical degree. Why? Because घर वालों ने को बुद्धि थी, उन्होंने को समझ में आया. I'm telling you, in humanities, in the field of arts, to do well, you have to be exceptional. इसमें जो do well कर रहा है, in his career, he has to be exceptional. To do well in engineering, get a job, you don't have to be exceptional. Even college में, engineering colleges में 5-6 CGPA वाले बच्चों का प्लेसमेंट हो जाता है. और यहाँ पर तुम देखोगे 9 CGPA टॉपर्स रहेंगे, they will have trouble finding a placement. So if any of you, अगर कोई पेरेंट्स इसको वॉच कर रहे हैं और वो हमेशा ये सोच रहे हैं, the reason why you should do arts or humanities because you have an interest in it and you want to explore the field further and you have the so some people say कि सर financial resources है तो नहीं. Financial resources हैं तो ये करो. If you have the financial resources, then you do this because sustaining this your hobby into humanities and social sciences and exploring the depths of it is going to be expensive. This is going to be much less expensive because after 4 years you will be somewhere probably getting a job. If you are able to, and if you don't have to be exceptional. Second is, in maths and sciences, please understand that if I study percentage in 10th class, I don't need to build a layer on it. But in social sciences, ideas will keep changing. If you're talking about a simple concept of poverty, 10 years back, a poverty lecture in percentage, no concepts have changed. I still do that, so I don't need to come back and revise it. But a poverty 10 years back to measure poverty, or few decades back to measure poverty, we were having a calorie count. That if you consume less than this calorie, then you are poor. Today, calorie count can be easily, you give a bottle of Coke or Pepsi to someone, his calorie count will increase and he will not be poor. Those methods are changed. So even the question like poverty, there can be levels of answers. Some people will write a very simple answer, India is poor because A, it has huge population, resources are less, there is corruption, lack of skills and education. And you feel that his answer is also right answer. But then if you come for a rank improvement, you will probably have better points. That India doesn't exactly have resource problem. It has a problem of inequality, which means resources are monopolized by a few. You will write ideas from geography. That India is poor because India has a hot and humid climate. So hot and humid climate, as you can see, I'm sweating. AC बंद की है क्योंकि थोड़ी खांसी हो रही है. So hot and humid climate means it is enervating or energy sucking. So any hot and humid climate place will have low labor productivity. Economy will not be able to benefit from it. This is a factor. You come for adding another layer and you say hot and humid climate means high disease burden. What sort of diseases? Vector-borne diseases. What sort of diseases? Communicable diseases. Sardi, Khansi, Machhar, Makhi, all these diseases will happen. Not happening in temperate latitudes. So if you see countries along the tropics, Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, whether it is Latin America, Africa or Asia, they are likely to be poor. You can also cite articles from the Republic of Hunger, Utsa Patnaik. So she says that India remains poor because after liberalization, all prices have been deregulated except agriculture price. But governments in countries such as India, the governments conspire with the capitalist class and regulates agriculture prices through MSP, keeping the agriculture price low. Therefore, farmer doesn't get rewarded for his produce and farmer remains poor and India remains poor. And if food prices rise, then capitalists fear that workers will demand increase in wages, which will hurt their profit margin. So do you see a Marxist perspective can be there on poverty and MSP? Now what happens is, you know the basics that India has poverty because of huge population, resource crunch, corruption, unemployment, skill development, all these things. Those are very level 0 and level 1 answers. So people will come back because they want to improve. They want better ideas. They want better points. So this is all that I wanted to say. And 4-5 things is that those of you who have been following ForumIAS and have any sort of confusion, I can say this all with all conviction that this is what I'd say. First is that whenever you take an online advice or any advice, please take it, have the sibling test of a good advice, which means that when somebody gives you an advice, you always ask them, which is the advice you will give to a family member? Is it the advice you'll give to a relative? If it is not good enough to be given to a relative, don't give it to me. You think I'm underprivileged and you're telling me all the techniques by which I can save money, but you're not telling me the techniques by which I can meet my objective. Because there's no accountability. Second is, who are you taking advice from? This becomes very important. I had this bright student from a good educational background, and she was guided a bhaiya who was not half bright or even 1/10 as bright. And when she was guided by that student, she fell because dono ke level hi alag the. So what happens is, I often see some student, because today it happened to me that a young man comes, it is his last attempt. I say, why did you come so late? And I came to know that for 4-5 years, he was roaming around doing all sorts of time waste things. तो उसको गाइड करने वाले जो लोग थे, उन्होंने प्रीलिम्स नहीं निकाला था. तो एक चीज सिविल सर्विसेज के बारे में मैं आपको एक चीज बता दूंगा. You take advice from anyone except and never from someone who has never cleared the prelims. I don't have a racial segregation or racial hatred for it. All I'm saying is they have struggled hard, they have not found success. So उनको कई बार लगता है मेहनत से नहीं होगा, या they have no idea about the examination. So do not take inputs from there. You can take a generic input, but not over beyond that. Sometimes you often see bright kid goes to Coras, takes a review, and the review is he's a bright kid with a 10 CGPA and maybe a degree from engineering colleges. He has a good placement. He had a job security. He has everything, and he's taking input from a person who has never studied, have a hobby of preparing for civil services. He gives an input, and then this intelligent man is wasting 2 hours. And remember, the majority is like that. Third is online advice, including from ForumIAS. Please do not take it. Our job is to educate you, but remember that an online advice, including this one, has no value. Now, when I make a phone call, I hear the government has an advisory that पैसे डबल करने का अगर इंटरनेट से कॉल आए तो ध्यान मत दें, ये साइबर अपराध हो सकता है. So please do not take an online input, especially from people whom you do not know what their credentials are. A person who's fresh into preparation is taking input from somebody who's not cleared the prelims 4 times and has lost all faith. He will definitely tell you things that probably you have no idea about. The person has not figured it out himself a lot of parts of the journey. I'm not saying he has to be an IAS officer, but all I'm saying is he should have gone through a journey. He should have written the prelims mains interview. He has some idea about this examination. He can do justice to you. And then he has to have both the intent and interest. The intent has to be there, capability has to be there, and the interest has to be there is good advice. I can tell you about ForumIAS because a lot of anxiety calls came from parents, because a lot of online free reviews were there, which was supposedly pushed by people who were grievanced. But while some parts of it were true, a large parts of it only half-truths. And anxious parents were worried what is happening to their children in the residential coaching. Now, we decided not to do anything because what happens is that these kind of threads generally happen in coaching institutes whenever there is an admission season, and then when the season goes away, then the threads are withdrawn. This annually happens. It has been happening since a large number of years. At least with forum, this happens that whenever there's an admission season, somebody starts a campaign, a slander campaign without any accountability, where half truths are thrown, and maybe there could be truths, but and it's my word against their word. But the point is that in the end, the ultimate test of an academy is the result, and we have publicly released the list of students who have cleared it. We are far from perfect. We can do much better than this. There are steps that we can immediately take to increase the selection ratio. We can reach that number on 90%. We could reach that. There are things, and maybe we'll do it in the future if we feel like. But yes. And last is, when you come here, please speak to people in person. If you get an internet advice, don't do this, don't do that, they will push you towards nihilism. You say किताब खरीद लो, वो कह देगा महंगी है, इंटरनेट से डाउनलोड करके पढ़ लो. तुमको क्लास कर लो, कहेगा टेलीग्राम से कर लो. अंत में they will move you to do nothing. Don't wait for 4 years. Speak to the same person in person. You will see that his opinion will change. He won't be the same person. Remember, there is a difference between a consumer advice and a responsible advice. All right. I may have a grievance towards Voltas because AC नहीं काम कर रहा, लेकिन खरीदना होगा तो Voltas ही खरीदूंगा. I'm saying this because we were aware of anxious parents calling us saying that there are so many hate slander campaign going in the residential academy, and we were seeing. So what we did was, we had an entrance examination. We increased the fee of the entrance examination to see that nobody should be joining us, because that is the edtech strategy. That it's not dependent on the quality of the program. The edtech strategy that you do it at such a less price that everybody joins it, and then later you claim ranks. This was not the philosophy of an offline institute. So what happened is, we have the phase in FRC, we have phase-wise fees, so that if somebody is not benefiting, they should be moving out, and we also throw them out. But we were hardly seeing people move out. We did not see any mass movement. Even when people were asked to leave, they did not leave. When they were asked to pay fee for the next quarter, that is 3 months. So we do not have a one-time fee payment in FRC. We have a quarterly fee payment system where every 3 or 4 months or phase-wise the fees are collected. They did not quit in any phase. They had all the freedoms to leave. But we did not see a significant movement. It wasn't less. In every phase, we did not see ever a movement of more than 10%, which means that a lot of negative, if you've been worried about, anxious about all the because I'm saying this point because a relative of mine decided not to come to FRC despite having which I felt was it would have just justice to him, because his father felt that I'm the one who's lying and all the reviews are correct. So that is the point where I said that if you have any doubts, you speak to physical persons, real persons. You go and visit the premises, you go and meet real people, you talk to your friends who are there, and not to anonymous online strangers who have no interest in the success of your career. So this is all that I wanted to say. And we hope, if you know anyone who's having trouble clearing the prelims and has other, you can see all this at this RankForge challenge. You can visit the results. We will try to update it. वैसे हमारा जो टारगेट था वो लगभग 170 बच्चों का हमने अपडेट कर दिया. वी हैव नो फर्दर इंटरेस्ट इन अपडेटिंग इट, और वी आर नॉट चेजिंग दैट नंबर. द गोल फॉर ForumIAS is percentage contribution in the success. So if you say that we often use the tagline, we build officers. My ambition, I can tell you my personal aim and ambition, my dream is that we want to truly build them. We want to be the reason for their selection. And if you really ask me that, sir, you are saying that you have 70% in top 100 of you people have cleared the prelims. One is that while it is a small milestone in the civil services journey, because you have mains and the interview, and they have too many other things waiting for you. For them, it is a giant leap because, well, it's the first time they are clearing the prelims. But more than that, if you ask me what is the percentage role of ForumIAS in their success, if you ask me, I'm not being humble, but I think it is 0.1%. इससे ज़्यादा हमारा रोल नहीं है. और क्यों बता देता हूँ? I want to say this because if you are out of excitement or any FOMO you want to come, you should know this. If you see the amount of hard work and the effort they have put, you see last year's video, Abhishek Sharma said, मैंने 15,000 questions solve किए, and I was reading somewhere on social media that people were trolling ही 15,000 question कौन solve करता है. You are not aware that you take any of the top rankers, you take the SFG topper list. The topper list of SFG will be getting single digit rank in UPSC final list. He will getting single digit rank in Indian Forest Service. तो ये जो बच्चे जो कर रहे हैं, अगर आप ये जो आप बच्चों को करते देखेंगे, तो पहले तो ये जो ट्रोलिंग हो रही थी अभिषेक की, I was surprised because nobody defended him, because FRC में बच्चे 10,000 क्वेश्चन तो ऐसे ही करते हैं. उन्होंने हो सकता है 15,000 कर लिए। दूसरी बात ये कि अगर आप देख लोगे कितना एफर्ट लोगों ने डाला है एग्जाम को निकालने के लिए, इसमें से ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो 7 साल से प्रिपेयर कर रहे थे, 5 बार प्रीलिम्स दिया है, नहीं हुआ, 6ठी बार जाकर हुआ है, अब उनकी हालत खराब है कि लास्ट अटेम्प्ट है, अब मैं क्या करूं। ऐसे बच्चे हैं यहाँ पर। मतलब मैं उनसे मिला था कोरोना के पहले, उसके बाद पता नहीं कहाँ थे, और उसके बाद नेक्स्ट बार मिला हूँ आखिरी अटेम्प्ट में कैंपस में, FRC कैंपस में। तो इफ़ यू सी हाउ मच स्टडी, हाउ मच एफर्ट दे हैव पुट, आप भी कह दोगे कि सर आपका रोल नहीं है, इतनी मेहनत कर ली, बहुत खास अचीव नहीं कर लिया। तो एनी ऑफ यू आर एक्साइटेड टू अबाउट FRC एंड ऑल, की मुझे भी जाना है, मैं भी मेहनत कर लूँ, तो पहले मैं बता देता हूँ कि मेहनत इतनी कर लेते हैं बच्चे कि आपको लगेगा कि रिवॉर्ड इज टू एफर्ट रेशियो बड़ा लो है। मतलब जितनी मेहनत वो बच्चे कर रहे हैं, आप चले जाओ कभी 10 बजे, 11 बजे, 2 बजे, लाइब्रेरी आपको भरी मिलेगी, लोग सो नहीं, मतलब लोग इतना एफर्ट कर रहे हैं, वो ऐसे एफर्ट कर रहे हैं जैसे शायद एक नेशनल लेवल के लिए करना चाहिए। तो इफ़ यू आस्क व्हाट इज आवर कंट्रीब्यूशन, 0.1%, हम सोचते हैं कि शायद ये 1 to 2% हो जाए उनकी सक्सेस में, एंड देन वी विल हैव मेट आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव। ऑलराइट, सो दैट इज ऑल। आई विश यू द बेस्ट इन योर फ्यूचर एंडेवर्स, एंड फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू क्लियर द प्रीलिम्स, बस एक चीज़ बता देता हूँ कि you may be a loser right now, whatever the world thinks of you. Make sure that you are the most successful loser from this list. Make sure that among the bunch of people who are your friends जिनका नहीं हुआ है prelims, उसमें अगर आप सबसे successful अगले साल, then you will clear this exam. And secondly, अगले साल जब prelims देना, तो try to look for a very single digit rank या under 20 rank anywhere on any list. Have radical improvement plans. It shouldn't be the case कि आपसे जो बच्चे आज नंबर कम ला रहे हैं, मतलब आपने अगले साल दिया और नए बच्चे आ रहे हैं और वो आपसे ज़्यादा नंबर फिर से ले आ रहे हैं। क्योंकि आपको एक चीज़ मैं क्लियर बता देता हूँ कि बच्चे, आप अगर कम तेज हो तो शायद जेई ना निकाल पाओ, अगर कम तेज हो तो शायद कैट ना निकाल पाओ, लेकिन अगर आप कम तेज हो, पढ़ाई नहीं की है पूरे जीवन, तो मेहनत करके सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जाम जरूर निकाल लोगे। और ये मैं किसी प्रोमिसरी नोट के थ्रू नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मैं ऐसे बच्चों को देखा है मैंने जिनके मतलब बहुत बेयरली, मुश्किल से, कमज़ोर होने के कारण 10th पास नहीं कर पाए, 12th पास नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, और यहाँ पर आकर सिविल सर्विसेज में अच्छा कर रहे हैं। वो नंबर बहुत कम है, लेकिन ऐसा है कि जब वो पढ़ने लगते हैं तो उनका रिजल्ट आ जाता है। ऑलराइट, सो आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट। आई होप दैट दोज ऑफ यू हैव सक्सीडेड इन द प्रीलिम्स एग्जाम एंड आर राइटिंग द मेंस, मेक श्योर दैट यू use the lessons that you've learned so far very productively in the mains exam. And those of you who have not been able to clear the prelims exam this year and will be writing the mains next year, make sure that you write down what your lessons from this year's prelims. All right, and you'll do well. Thank you so much, class.